Okay, welcome back. This is video number, just literally almost knocked everything in my little classroom over. Video number 2! Hello again, I am teacher Frannie. I just did video number 1 that you can look for, and that's where I give you my intro to tell you all about me so that I can keep things clear and concise. The videos are nice and short, and therefore they're separated. So if you want to know more about me, go back to video number 1. And I kind of tell you a little bit about my story, how I got involved, and how much I work, and all that jazz. This video is about my actual interview process. I want you to understand my experience interviewing, and hopefully that'll be able to help you with your experience interviewing and give you a little bit of confidence going forth, because I did not think I was going to get hired. Like, I finished my interview and I was so depressed. I was like, that was awful. That was not how I planned it. I didn't think my mentor liked me. I do think sometimes things are subjective. So it's like one person's style of teaching is not another person's style of teaching. And I was like, this is just not linking up. Like, we are not vibing. And I don't know. She was having a day, and I could tell she was having a day. And she was just like, she seemed a little irritated. I don't know. It might have been in my head because I was so nervous. And I had gone out and got my headset, and I had all these, so I was like, this would suck if I really didn't get the job. And I was kind of banking on it at that point. I was excited about it. At that point, I was like, this would be really great for me. I was about to start traveling. I wanted something while I was traveling internationally so I could keep working. I had heard from a friend about teaching online, so I had already been interested in it. And I interviewed with Landi, and with Landi, you teach multiple kids in one class. And I'm really happy that didn't work out for me, because I don't think that was the best choice for me as a human who's OCD and just needs a little bit less of that going on. So I'm happy that it didn't work out, but what it did was it prepared me for how to prepare for VIP Kid. And I want to just say prepare, like prepare yourself, because I think what happens is you go into this and you just don't know what you're really signing up for. The online teaching platform is just like a different type of thing. Even if you're a brick and mortar teacher, like there's a different type of way that you go about attacking this type of platform. And I think it's really helpful to kind of get some insight about the expectations. So look at other YouTube videos. I know I had certain teachers that I like their style. I'll look at that. This is very clear. Let me look at that. There are teachers who actually go through a full-on demo of what they did. I found those incredibly helpful, and I would so suggest studying those. And I also would suggest, if you can, link up with a coach such as myself or someone else who just will practice with you. I think that's really helpful because they're going to know things that you should anticipate that you might not know or you might not see on a video, because we've all had different experiences. So definitely prepare. When I did the Landi interview, I prepared, but not half as much as I prepared from a VIP Kid video. I spent hours getting prepared, practicing the lesson, watching other people. I can't stress enough how important it is to just be prepared for your interview. And then you're gonna have a few stages. You have your interview, which is how you basically introduce yourself to the interviewer, the person at VIP Kid headquarters. And so your interview, you do have to teach like a small section of a class, and you do that first, and then they interview you and they start just talking to you about your experience and who you are and get your vibe. There's some new things now. You do have to have a bachelor's degree, and you do have to have teaching experience or experience working with kids for at least a year. And so don't freak out about that and be like, oh my God, I don't have my teaching certificate. That's not what it is. I don't have a teaching certificate, but I had worked with kids in so many sectors of my life. I've worked with kids for years of my life. Compile that together, and that is your experience. Have you tutored? Did you work in a summer camp? Are you a mentor for a kid in your neighborhood? I don't know. Just like do you babysit? Do you teach? Even if it's like I teach dance, I teach acting classes to kids. That's what I did for years before I started VIP Kids. So that was my teaching experience. That was good enough. So it's like, don't psych yourself out with that. I think the degree now is the biggest thing that knocks people out. That wasn't the requirement before. It is the requirement now. You also now have to have the TESOL or TESOL or however you pronounce that. And I got mine through VIP Kid. I heard you can also go on Groupon and complete it for like $5. I don't think you have to have that to get hired. you do it once you get hired, but that's another thing that you'll have to do. But anyway, you go through your interview, then you're going to have mock class. If you get past through the interview, basically they tell you what you're going to make. They'll give you your base rate, and it's anywhere between $7 to $9 an hour. Most teachers I meet and most teachers I research and talk to said it typically comes out to be like 8, depending on your experience. I haven't heard of anybody who got 9, but if you do, kudos to you. I heard that's been happening a lot more lately, so get that money, honey. Good for you. They'll tell you that, and they give you notes and feedback, and then they tell you whether you're passed on to Mach 1 or not. And most people do get passed on. Like you fit all the requirements, you're going to get passed on to Mach 1, and that's a different class that you need to prepare. Things that were brought up in my initial interview, of course, he wanted to talk about my experience. They want to get a vibe of your personality, and they do want to see that you can teach. And so when you do that actual class, like check for corrections, like find moments where you can use a prop or two, find moments where you can build a rapport with the student and still stay on track with the timing. The timing is still important. So you do want to practice that rotation so that you make sure you're on track. I'm going to show you like what I did to get my props because I didn't want to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. So one of the lessons was like on flags and like this is the Chinese flag, and I literally just drew it on some paper and cut it out. I made a pig. This is the pig. I just made that. I drew it. The actual PowerPoint came with all these pictures, so I printed it out and I cut, and I just made little things. That's what I did. I made a panda. I just made things because I didn't want to buy anything. You don't know for sure where you're at, and so I wouldn't recommend going out and buying a bunch of stuff for that interview for Mach 1, Mach 2, or Mach 3. These are all things that I had throughout the entire process that I used. That I made from the PowerPoint they gave us, things from computer paper, some markers, just draw some stuff. If you've got kids or friends with kids, hit up their playpens. This is the perfect way to get through this process. I did buy my headset. I wanted to look like I had the part. I'm just really big on that, and I had on an orange shirt. So those are the 2 things that I did do, but everything else I made. And that was a successful process for me. It could be successful for you. What do you have in your home that you can use? What do you have around you already in your own space? That way, if it doesn't work out, you're not as upset. It's like, they do have a very low hiring rate. It might be raised now, but the thing about it is those who invest more up front get so much more upset about it. It's like, what do you have to lose? So don't put yourself in a situation where you feel like you have a lot to lose. That's going to put more pressure on you. You're going to do less work teaching and learning, and you're going to do more work trying to put on a whole thing. Like, I had things from the dollar store. Like, I went to the dollar store and I spent maybe $3 to $6 on just some stuff to put on my wall with some tape so it looked like I tried. All things, like one of them was a map. A map can be used in any sector of life. And so I bought things that I felt like were beneficial in life. So it didn't feel like I was going out of my way and doing stuff that like wouldn't actually be used again. And then I bought stickers for my reward. I'm trying to find where are my stickers. These little stickers were the reward I used. Little stuff like that. And there's other little things where you can draw. Like I got like these little whiteboards so that I could draw the little teeth or reward that you see, but I thought that was a little boring. So I just did stickers, and that worked fine. He liked it. It was good. It created engagement. What is this? This is pizza. Things like that. What is it? This is a cat. Stuff like that. That's enough. You're good. You're so good. My interview, though, I literally thought she didn't like me. So my third one. My first one I felt went, my interview with the actual person at VIP Kid, I thought went really well. I obviously got passed on to Mach 1, which is very supportive environment. They give you mostly tips for how you can improve. Mach 2, they're a little bit harder on you because they want you to excel in Mach 3. But here's the mistake. Don't make a mistake and think you have the job. You do not have the job. You have a pay rate for if you get the job. You got a lot of people who are supporting you in getting the job, but you don't have the job. So don't get to Mach 3 and be like, oh, I got this. You don't have this. Be prepared. Make sure that you have some sort of props, 1 or 2 extra things for a teaching aid. You can create or buy a whiteboard from the dollar store. This is actually like a sheet protector and like piece of paper inside. Go get you some markers from the dollar store for like $1. and have a whiteboard, those things just increase your rate of doing well, because they do have like a rubric that they follow to check things off. So interview, my biggest tip for you, do not think that you have it in the bag. You don't have it in the bag. Like, you need to make sure that you're prepared, make sure you look professional, have some sort of background. If you can get the headset, get the headset. You can return stuff like that. Wear a professional shirt. Look presentable, like you're ready to, book, and like you're ready to get this going. Be sure to smile. That is my number one feedback I got when I did my actual interview with the person from BAP Kid. He said, don't forget that smile. At that point, they also label you. Like, they start seeing, where will you be best? Will you be best with the younger kids or the older kids? For me, it became the younger kids. So I had lots of high energy. Be careful about your speed. That's something you want to practice, is your speed. Practice talking in the mirror in a slow way. And another way I slow myself down is by using my fingers. What do you see? I see a cat. That's even a little fast. So it's like, for a young learner, I see a cat. Make sure you smile. Like, a period is a smile. You know what I mean? Do little things like that to help you out. Use your hands as much as you can. Make hearts. When you're blending, at, cat. Find little ways stylistically that work for you to help you stand out, and also help it look like you've trained and you could be clear and concise when you're in the classroom. Those are also things you're going to pick up more as you start teaching. But it does help you. So practice with a friend or a coach, such as myself, and be aware of when they say things like, mine went, I see a cat and apple. Correct that and. That's not how we say and. So you want to correct that even in your mock class. Mock class 1, 2, 3, or the interview. All these stages, you need to be making those corrections. They want to see that you're not just sweet and nice, that you also can teach. And teaching is correcting. Doing it in a kind way, in a supportive and encouraging way, but also having the ability to teach the student the material. You do want to make sure you have good lighting. That is very important. This is not good lighting. This is better lighting. I did it during daylight. That was very helpful. If you're not doing it during daylight, make sure you have plenty of lights up and that they're in front of you, and that you can see everything that you're doing, and make sure that, like, your lighting doesn't blind the props. Like, they still need to be able to see the props in and out of the screen, and so you don't want to have a glare. You'll get a note for that too. I would say those are like the do's and the don'ts. I think a bigger thing I want to say is just, like, don't forget to breathe. Calm yourselves, young friends. You're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Remember, it's not life or death. Remember that if it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. I believe you can resubmit under a different email. People do it all the time. Just put in a different email. Try again next time. I want to say, don't try to do a style. Like, if you watch a video from a different coach, if you watch something where they're doing the mock class 1, 2, or 3, and they're teaching you how to teach it, don't try to adapt a style that you know is not instinctively you. Like, if you know that you wouldn't naturally teach something that way, don't try to do it in the mock 1, 2, 3, or interview. Like, don't try to do that. Try to find, I'd say, watch an array of videos of people teaching and decide, oh, that really works for me. Or get inspired. Like, I saw one person, she did a heart. She would be like, at, cat. That's not my thing. I prefer to do just flat hands, but it gave me the idea of turning it into, like, high fives and then being like this, or clapping when they're done. So it's like they did good. It's like, at, cat, yay! That works for me better than, I don't know, that didn't jive with me. But I do give my kids hearts all the time. I just didn't like it for blending. And I had that feedback from my mentor, like, about when I did my mock class 3. That's one reason I thought she didn't like me, is because there were a few things that I did that I was watching someone else's style, but when I did them, they didn't translate the same. And she was like, why are you doing all that extra stuff? Like, it's so unnecessary. So she even told me, like, don't worry too much about these little props and stuff, especially if there's a bee already on the screen. Like, you don't need to show the bird and all that. Use what's on your slide to help you too. If the props are not something that's standing out, like, this is such a cute prop. My kids love it. I did not have this when I taught originally, but I did have these little smiley faces that I cut out. I cut out smiley faces so that they could see expressions of happiness just like this. my lesson was about emotions. And so this is what I did, again, from the PowerPoint. So that is something that's a useful prop, more useful than I would say B for bird. This is probably a better prop. So think of something that's simple, but also gets your point across, and that's not going to cause you a lot of disarray to do. So if you're somewhere like fumbling over it, don't do it. That's why I did stickers for a reward, because I was like, that's easy. Don't do something that's going to be complicated for you in your body, in your mind, or in your soul, because then you're going to look like you're having a hard time, and the goal is for you to look like you're doing it with ease. So find your ease. And one way you find ease is by finding your breath. So remember to breathe, remember to smile, be positive, speak slowly, and try to have fun with it. Remember that they're tagging you on what type of teacher you'll be based on these interviews and these mock classes. So you just want to make sure that you're promoting the best version of yourself. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay if you don't do it exactly how you planned it. None of those things matter. But I can talk to you more specifically about the interview process through comments, through questions. If you want to reach out to me for coaching, this is a general understanding of what I went through and a little bit of support to tell you you are going to be fine. This is completely doable. This is not bigger than you. You are completely able to do this without spending a lot of money, without getting incredibly overwhelmed, without stressing yourself out. None of that is required. Preparation is required. A smile is required. A few, one or two props that you can find at home are required. And just be knowledgeable about what you're getting yourself into so that you're prepared for whatever happens. Right? Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Let's move on to video number 3.